Well, good afternoon once again, everybody. Welcome to the United Regional Chamber of Commerce's weekly update. We try and bring you some relevant topics and some local attractions from the area. We want to thank AACS for hosting us every week. And Dave Angel over there has done a great job. So, David and AACS, thank you very much. This week, my guest is Brenda Young from Capron Park Zoo. And Capron Park, as most of you might have seen, have been closed for a little over a week, maybe 10 days, because they've done some fabulous upgrades to make it a little bit better experience. Brenda, welcome.
Thank you, Jack. It's great to be here.
I'm glad you could come today. Capron Park Zoo is one of the diamonds in the area. I know that you attract an awful lot of folks and families from all around New England. But before we get into that, tell us, what are some of the upgrades that you've just done over the past week or so?
Well, the most recent upgrades that we've done that caused us to be closed are we're upgrading the gas lines in the facility. So previously, two of our buildings were run off of propane. And, there's always that concern of getting propane deliveries in the middle of the winter or on a busy day. So we've been able to upgrade to natural gas in those buildings. So now we have no concerns about not being able to heat the buildings and keep the animals comfortable.
Okay. And, over the past 3-4 months, we've all had to deal with COVID-19 and some of the challenges. But tell us some of the challenges that you've had, because obviously you're a little bit of a different venue than a lot of my business owners, where you deal with the public on a regular basis and the kids coming in. So talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges that you've worked with over this COVID.
Our biggest challenge primarily has been being closed for 3 months and opening just prior to our busy season. But we lost 3 months of revenue, which was when all of our school groups and our self-guided tours, that's when we get to see all the kids coming in, and we do a lot of programmings then. So we really missed having everybody here. And once we did open, we had to do a lot of barrier adjustments in order to keep people safe and also to keep our animals safe. Several of our animals are susceptible to the COVID-19, so we had to make sure that we were keeping everybody safe, going in the right way, and following all of the guidelines put forth for the state in order for us to open. We had extra staff on hand for capacity tracking, making sure once we were able to open buildings, we maintain the capacity for those buildings, and just pretty much be there to make sure everyone has a good time and can see. We were fortunate enough to, once we were able to open buildings, our only restriction was keeping our rainforest closed because of our fruit bats that are in there. They're highly susceptible to COVID-19, so we continue to have that building closed for their safety.
How many buildings besides the gift shop and registration does Capron Park have? For the animals, I should say.
5.
5.
We have the otter building. We have the bear lion building. We have the Sadler building, which is right in the center behind the flagpole. We have our nocturnal building, which is in a transition state at this time. We're transitioning away from it being a nocturnal building. Those plans have kind of been extended due to COVID-19, but then we also have our rainforest.
Yeah, and it's the rainforest that we did a ribbon cutting for, a year or so ago?
Yes.
Yeah. Phenomenal place. If you have not taken the time to go to Capron Park, especially on a beautiful afternoon like today and some of the weather we've had, you need to go and check some of these out. Now, normally we're coming up to Zubu season, and
Correct.
I understand that we can't do that this year because of the COVID, but you guys have adapted very, very well. Tell us what you're doing instead.
Okay, so instead of our one-night Zubu after-hours event, where we were fortunate and very happy to have over 2,000 people here during a span of 4 hours, we have developed a Halloween weekends, which is the 17th and 18th of October, the 24th, 25th, the 31st, and November 1st. And the zoo will be decorated. We've got activities planned that'll be listed on our Facebook page as well as our website. There will be trick-or-treat stations. We got our operations department ingenious ways to hand out prizes and select candies out to the kids in a socially distance appropriate manner. The zoo will be decorated for the entire month, starting from the 17th. So you'll be able to come Monday through Friday. You'll still see all the decorations, all the photo opportunities, just the addition of the extra activities on the weekends, and the trick-or-treating throughout the zoo will be just on the weekends. But it's free with paid admission.
Yeah, and it still spreads it out a little bit. And obviously we can't have 2,000 people at one time. But Correct. It gives families, the opportunity, or 3 different opportunities to walk through, to still be safe with all the social distancing. Tell us some of the other programs that you offer there at the zoo.
Currently, we are in the process of developing some virtual animal encounters to take the place of our on-site animal encounters. And we also have our education department is working on some adult Zoocademy programming virtually that to support our adults that want to learn more about our animals and get to do the fun things that usually the kids are the ones doing during our programs.
Right. Now, before COVID hit and on a normal year, although what is normal anymore, how many school groups did you bring through? Especially during the busy time, like you just said that you had. How many school groups and family groups come through on a regular basis?
For school groups and self-guideds on an average day, say in May, when schools were doing their field trips normally, we could see as many as 5 or 6 school groups coming through, plus smaller family groups coming in. And that's in addition to the scheduled programs that our education department was offering for specific schools. So you could have, like I said, 5, 6, 7 self-guided groups, but you could have just as many, like 2 or 3 school groups that are having paid programming provided specifically for them on any given day.
And I think we'll all have to, and I know everybody hates this word, pivot a little bit, to change the way that we're all doing business right now. What are some of the things that you can see coming down the road? Or have you planned that far? I know a lot of us haven't, because it's almost a week-to-week decision because things change week to week.
Well, we are hoping to have online purchasing established, hopefully by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. That will allow people to purchase their admission tickets, any event tickets that we may be able to run, our education programs, and memberships online, which is something that we have been trying to do for a very long time. The first step in that process was obtaining the wireless credit card machines that we were able to get before we reopened in June. They were actually the cornerstone of how we were able to reopen. You can't run registers in separate different locations if there's only one credit card machine, but because working with the city and Derek Corsi, the park superintendent, and Lou Stevens, our director, we were able to, after about 1.5 years, come to fruition on getting those wireless credit card machines. So online purchasing is a big thing we've heard people are looking for, and hopefully we'll be able to get that up and running by the end of the year.
Now, a lot of people do know, and some do not know. You are an entity of the city of Attleboro, so you have certain guidelines and things that you have to adhere to. But you also have a group, the Friends of Capron Park,
Yes.
who are a volunteer organization.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about them.
The Friends of Capron Park are our support organization. They're great. They're, like you said, Jack, volunteer group of individuals from throughout the communities, the surrounding communities, that have dedicated to work for fundraising for the zoo. So they run various events in order to raise funds for different projects throughout the zoo. Some of the things you might have seen when you've been here are the picnic area was donated through them. Our Wi-Fi system, they purchased for us and had installed. The other project that they worked on was the PA system. So previously we had one speaker for the entire zoo for a PA system. Now we have speakers throughout the zoo and in buildings. So we can make public announcements for different events that are happening throughout the day, but also it allows us to have better emergency response.
Yeah, we partnered a year or so ago with the Friends of Capron Park and you to do shopping in the wild.
Yep.
And that was a pretty successful event. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do that this year, but hopefully we can come back, maybe in the spring when things lighten up a little bit, and we can bring some of those vendors back and bring some of the folks in, because you brought in some food trucks. We had some different vendors, and actually we did it on the holidays. So good old Saint Nick, he came around and did some pictures with the kids.
Yep.
Have you got anything like that on the horizon?
We're hoping to still be able to hold our Winter Nights program event that we've had for the past couple of years. It's over, again, like the Halloween weekends, it's over several weekends, so we can space people apart, and we'll have picture opportunities at that point. As far as having food trucks in, it's complicated with the capacity limits that we have. We're still mandated to stay below 50% capacity, which is just over 1,000 people at one time. And as I'm sure you've seen, Jack, when we have food trucks here, we get a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
We love and we miss.
Absolutely. And they all do a great job when they come in. Tell us a little bit about your staff. I've had the opportunity to come and meet them. You were kind enough to let me kind of sneak in the back last year, and I fed my little friends some grapes. But you've got a great dedicated staff there that takes such good care of all the animals. Let's talk a little bit about your staff.
I'd love to. So our full-time staff consists of 15 full-time employees. 8 of those employees are animal care staff. So the 124 different animals that we have are cared for by these 8 wonderfully talented professionals that we have. They do everything from daily observations to enrichment for them to keep them physically and psychologically active, to husbandry training in order to make any sort of medical procedure or shifting or things like that easier for us and less stressful on the animals. They will assist with medical procedures as needed, and they just do a wonderful, wonderful job. Without them, they're the eyes and ears for those animals. They're the animals advocate, frontline advocates. So we rely on them immensely. And Jack, you saw the rainforest and all the work that was done in there. That's all done by our operations department, which is 2 individuals.
Yep, those 2 guys are great.
Yeah, they are great, and they just have great ideas and great skills. They do 95% of all the work done here on the grounds is spearheaded, if not completely completed, by our two-man operation team. Our keepers will pitch in and help, especially when it involves the animals that they're assigned to. We get them involved with any renovations or new constructions and things like that. And we have our education department, which does all the wonderful programming. And then we have our new veterinarian that's been here since March. 2 weeks after she got here, I think we closed down for COVID. So that was an interesting transition. But she's been wonderful. She's dedicated, very much a huge part, even after such a short time, she's a huge part of the day-to-day care. She works great with the keepers. They work great with her in keeping our collection healthy and being there and taking care of them when they're not feeling so well.
Sure. Well, besides the big guy Ramses, who's some of the favorite displays or animals that all the kids like?
Besides Ramses, okay, that's a tough one. No, they really enjoy our otters, Emmett and Rio. They're hysterical to watch. Some days they'll be running around, swimming, and I think we have the only 2 tree climbing otters that I'm aware of. So yeah, sometimes it's a trick to find them because they're scurried up and sitting at the top of the tree, checking out everything that's going on and keeping an eye on Ramses. Another popular exhibit animal is Lacey, our Amur leopard. She's very personable. She's very active. She responds well with keepers as well as with staff. And then you have Vicky, our sloth bear. She gets attention when she wants it. She's very comical at times. And the meerkats are another one. It's really hard to choose because I think everybody has their own favorite. You can get the big charismatic ones, but then you have the people that like to come in and see our collection of reptiles and snakes that are in the rainforest.
Yeah, I'm not a snake guy. I did a quick in and out of that when I saw the birds and everything. It was pretty nice, but them snakes aren't my friends. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Everyone has their own.
I'll stick with my red pandas. They let me feed them and come in and do that.
Yep.
I've always had a great time when I come to the zoo, and I buy a family membership for my daughter and granddaughter and the family so they can come all the time because she really enjoys it.
That's great.
Tell us, how can the general public help support the zoo?
First and foremost, come see us. We love having you here. It gets pretty quiet and not as interesting as of a day if our visitors aren't here. Purchasing your memberships is another great way. Also, we've been able to reorganize our gift shop and get merchandise in that is specific to Capron Park Zoo. For example, we have face masks. Everyone's got to wear face masks now. So we have adult and child face masks that have our animals on them.
Oh, cool.
We have T-shirts for the kids that have some of our animals on them. We have necklaces that have our animals on them, magnets. We even have socks that have our animals on them. We went to, instead of buying your standard stock products, we were able to work with some vendors that we've had and some new vendors in order to get merchandise that has our logo on it, has our animals, so that when you buy a gift at the zoo, you can proudly display the animals that you've seen, not some stock photo.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show today. I really enjoy Capron Park. I have for years. I've lived in town a long time. You've been part of my chamber for a long, long time as well, which we truly appreciate. But for you folks that haven't taken the time or the opportunity to take a stroll through Capron Park Zoo, it's something you need to do. You need to bring the kids. You need to bring your nieces and nephews and your grandkids. Because it's a really good time. It's a fun time, especially when they do some of the little educational shows. It helps with the learning process, and especially right now, everybody's been cooped up in the house. The kids have been kind of cabin fever for a little while. So as we still got some nice weather coming, take a ride over to Capron Park Zoo. Walk in, say hi to Brenda. She's always there. She's always there to help, as well as the rest of the staff. And it is truly a gem in the middle of Attleboro. So once again, Brenda Young from Capron Park Zoo, thank you very much for being a guest on my show today. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
No, thank you for inviting us, Jack. And like you said, we're here. As always, we're here 7 days a week. The animals get fed, so we're here. Come down and see us, and our staff loves talking about our animals and helping educate the kids and seeing the look of wonder, and helping make that connection to nature.
Awesome.
We'd love to see everyone.
Well, once again, Brenda, thank you. Folks, thank you very much for joining me again this week, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Everybody, please be safe, but stay social.